3rd, 2022. There's a baseball league, and not an esoteric, like theoretical one, like a real one. I have no idea what they do, their purposes, their function. Just like the other sports leagues. I don't know how to join a league. I don't think I would qualify. It's an all men's league. They get to play baseball on their schedule. They usually get picked from, I don't know how the process works. They don't teach what MLB is. What I'm concerned about at age 43 is, as I see these things like they just put on something about Philadelphia Club I never heard of, something called a Lynx I never heard of. All these things that they don't teach in the state of New York in public school education where I went. How to protect yourself, what to join, or even directionals to keep oneself safe. So I don't know, like, BET is bet, Alabet, ALBEIT. And that would be like albeit. Warren Thompson taught me that in his whatever he is in the world. He was probably the smartest man I had ever met that never spoke at his level with me and trying to live at just small talk. But every now and again, hearing his way of being, I knew he had more. We could have really great conversations, but it just, whatever he was here for at Mount McKinley, of mountains of whatever is going on, in Farmingville. So, and that's a 11738. The numbers, they match up as well in lucky numbers. Lucky me. So now there's an MLB lockout. I have no idea if that's been confiscated by some secret society of trying to avoid lynching elsewhere and made a massive migration to New York that I just heard about on Women's Month. They didn't talk about it on Black Month, but they talked about it on Women's Month. And it says MLB lockout. So now Kathy Hochul says that New York State relies on the baseball league. I'm like, really? Is that where they get fed from? Because I don't get fed off of that. They've never invited me into that level of club.
Governor Hochul weighing in on Major League Baseball canceling games because of a labor dispute. The governor released a statement that Major League Baseball is, quote, critical to the state of New York and our pandemic recovery. New York is not only home to the league, but also to thousands of New Yorkers, including many in the Bronx and Queens.
Bronx, Queens, whose livelihoods depend. Now, which livelihoods? I'm just curious, because the Bronx looks like some other country, and Queens, outside of Bayside. I mean, like, I'm the first town into Queens. Maybe the second, if you count Little Neck. But first or second town into Queens, and already it's like, I want to go back to Long Island. I want to just cut this off and go back to Long Island. It's too much. But as you go further into Queens, it looks like multiple nations of clusters of, I don't know who they are. I don't know how they got here. I don't know who gave them permission. I'm like, is there anybody who knows the answers to these things? To how they're funding, or are they self-funded? Are they accepting contributions from elsewhere? Those would be like a real key to know in order to shut them down and like hold crime down instead of growing domestic terrorists inside that have ties to outside. just to keep some of the people safe that don't really know why it's allowed to function in the manner that it's been going and growing in this dangerous direction. So this MLB, it's supposed to be Major League Baseball. I don't know if there's an articulation between something in the BET network, which, by the way, looks just as non-inclusive of myself as what they were just portraying as Philadelphia. The Black Entertainment Network, BET, they have grown that really dangerously large and strong, and it looks like the members of the Philadelphia or the Lynx are all involved in that as well, which precludes me from joining, which means it's a discriminatory, ancestral, whatever. We're still in North America. We're still gathering. This flag still flies. There's a national anthem. There's a pledge, especially at games like baseball. I went to one football game, Jets versus Giants. It was a derby game. I was invited by one of the locals. He was really kind to bring me. I had never been. I didn't even know where the stadium was. But I don't understand. If money was taken in order to build these stadiums and build these leagues, why isn't there at least a guarantee employment, even like just to serve drinks at the games, whatever, just so I have guaranteed employment? I mean, that much wasn't even offered. I went to school in New York. I graduated in Astoria, Queens. But there was no representatives, not from Major League Baseball, not from any league. And, by the way, I know this might shock some of you. I saw there's a thematic of pep rally in schools at what's supposed to be my level. But I will tell you that in Cold Spring Harbor, we didn't have football, and there was no pep rally. St. Dominic's, no football, no pep rally. And in St. John's, there was no football that I was aware of, and no pep rally. I only went there for 1 year. So there was, like, no football. I know, like, to some of you, it's like, oh, how could that be? Yeah, right. No, it be. And so there was no school spirit, like, just petered out, like somebody just gave up, and it wasn't me. I was just trying to follow along and make sure I stood wherever they told me to stand and learn as much as I could, so I didn't wind up here. But here I am. Star 1978, Star 8378, Nicole, Cattaruzza. It's Earth, Solar System, Milky Way, Universe, Galaxy is broken. It's Bayside Station, Bayside, New York, 11361. And so now, while my son's school, and I don't know how to get them to change or what the symbolism is no longer flying this flag. They said it was a custodial issue. They sent the flag out to be cleaned. I'm like, oh, how interesting. That was what the assistant principal, when I followed up with him today, said. It's March 3rd, 2022.